Okay, in this class, we're going to continue our assignment, our linear apple design composition. And one thing I want to talk about is when we work on this drawing, I want you to maintain control of your values. I don't want you to overblend them with your finger or do any kind of smearing, because we're going to need our values differentiated in order to use it for project 1. Okay, now what you see here is I've gone in and just quickly indicated the form shadow pattern, which is this, okay? Looking for the shadow edge and how that affects the form of the apple, okay? Also the cast shadow, that's the shadow projected onto the table, okay? And right now I'm just going to work right here so you can see what I'm doing. So we have our cast shadow and our form shadow. So if you remember correct, form shadow has two values, value 4 and value 5. So it's darker along the shadow edge and within the shadow. What I see, it's darker, it's getting less reflected light from the top, but a little bit more from the bottom, okay? And then you're going to transition those values across that line to our middle value, okay? All right, look at this, where the hole is and how that shadow is affected. Okay. And you have some shadow pattern, I'm sorry, some of that third value along the far edge. Okay. This is basically the value scheme that we're looking for. And then you're going to go in and redefine the linear aspect to this drawing. We still need a sense of the line work because we're going to translate this line work into a noton. So don't lose the detail in the line. Look for thick and thin, joined and separate lines, okay? You can also use your kneaded eraser, if you remember, to shape those lines. This works really well with charcoal. Instead of trying to get two lines very close together, you can actually use your eraser as a drawing tool to cut in and sharpen that shape, okay? Same thing with the outline. You can trim it, give it some variety. Thicker, thinner, darker, lost edges, found edges, okay? All right, and so then you want to advance all the apples even further along than I have here. I'm working rather quickly. You also need to add a tone in the background. You can use parallel diagonal lines to add that tone, and you also need a sense of what's happening on the table. All right, there's a certain value. The value on my table is lower than the highlights on my apples, so I do want some tone here. But don't overdo the value on the tabletop or in the background, because we do want to concentrate on our apple design here. And remember, you can use cross contour lines, and parallel diagonal lines to add variety to your apple, okay? Just to go over this quickly. And then, like I said again, use your eraser and your charcoal to refine the linear design.